BS Show, Season 4, Episode 8. Sean Gancars with Justin Chaz for an Valentine, as always. And boys, we were just talking pre-show, as always. We know it's a slow start. We say we heat up, and they had another 6-3 week last week. 17-10 overall in the last three. It's time to get going. We are really starting to get into the middle and thick of this football season here. Hopefully, we keep hitting our stride, feeling well. Adam, big winning week out of you. I think that hopefully builds the confidence. How are we feeling going into week 6? Follow that up.
Yeah, boys. I mean, that's on me. This slow start here. We're gonna bounce back though. Gank, I gotta say it because the fans deserve to know. 5-0 against Gank on the year. We love to see that. That being said, to team show, we're excited to be 17-10 and getting rolling.
Slow starts every year, and AT got back on track like we knew he would. Me and Gank stayed rolling. Let's hope we can all put it together again. Hey, if we keep rolling out 6 and 3s, come the end of the year, our record's gonna be very, very good.
Yeah, it's gonna be one we're not gonna. One a lot of people won't say that's an extremely high percentage, so I would gladly take that. With that said, we are actually, for the first time all season, not a complete full slate, but a main full slate. Couple bye weeks this week. The London teams last week, Jets and Falcons, will not be playing. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe we have everyone else on the field this week. And as always, we're to start Thursday Night Football. And with Gonzo here, Tampa Bay traveling to Philly. Philly pulling the win out of their ass last week against Carolina. Possibly save their season, give them fans a little more hope for another week at least, see what they could do. But tough one here. But hey, primetime in Philly, you never know. Eagles 7-point dogs at home, over under 52.5. And as always, Chaz, where they go to you, where they go to Gonzo. How's he feeling this week?
Yeah, some would say he's due for a win. 1-3, and like last year, every time he lost, the next week he never lost 2 in a row last year. So I'm gonna be confident in this one. He's back in the Bucs. He's back in Tom Brady. Bucs -7. Just today, Philly put Dallas Goedert on the COVID list, so they're out with him. Lane Johnson is once again not playing. Injuries are kind of starting to build for the Birds, and Tom Brady has like a thumb injury or whatever, but obviously he'll be fine. And if you think Tom Brady's forgot about that Super Bowl loss to the Birds, I think you are absolutely crazy. So I think he's going to come into Philly. You know, Philly's going to be ready to go prime time in Philly on Thursday night. But I think Tom Brady's going to shut him up, put up a lot of points. And so I'm going to back Gonzo here. I'm going to take the Bucs to win in a shootout, 33-23.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I got 2 goats to pick with in Brady and Gonzo. So we're going to go with the Bucs here. Gonzo's been a little cold early, but I'm not concerned. Plenty of times Brady started cold and then made Super Bowls, won Super Bowls. So we're not worried about that. I like a shootout here. Surprisingly, the Eagles defense has actually showed up in a few games. I think their front seven is still playing pretty well. I'm not really talking about that. And their defense played really well last week. I thought a couple picks against Sam Darnold. Should have been 3-0, but of course the Panthers just couldn't cover for me. That being said, Chaz, I like a very similar score to you. I like the points. Short week, not a lot of game plan. And I mean, the Bucs have like one healthy cornerback on their team. So we're going to expect Brady to go out and win this game big. Good for your fantasy team. And I like it 34-20 Tampa Bay.
Chaz, massive game for your fantasy team, huh?
Massive.
Quarterbacks dueling at each other. And I tell you what, I think you have an ideal matchup for it. I'm glad Gonzo picked Tampa Bay. Makes me pick a Tampa Bay. I'm not gonna lie though, it's pretty torn. I actually had a case for the Eagles here, and Adam, you kind of hit on it. Tampa Bay has one healthy cornerback. You know, Jalen Hurts wants to have a decent game at home. Philly's to keep up with them in this game, but Jazz really got the shootout that your fantasy team needs. I truly believe that. And I think Tampa Bay and Tom Brady's just to be a little bit too much, you know. I do see where the Eagles actually kind of match up well. Like I said, I think they'll be able to throw the ball successfully. Almost every team has against Tampa Bay this year. And Adam, once again, I agree with you where I think the Eagles front seven kind of doesn't get enough credit yet this year, and can maybe keep Tampa Bay in check. We know the history with Brady pressures his biggest kryptonite in this league, and maybe the Eagles can get to him, but I just don't see it. I said last week, Tampa Bay had the game against Miami. That's kind of a game I think they needed to get it all clicking, get rolling again. They went out there and put up a ton of points. I see they're going to follow it up with a ton more points this week. It'll be too much. I'll give Tampa Bay the cover in a rather high scoring, fun football game here. 35-27 bucks. All right.
Football game.
Oh yeah. All right. Now back to London here. London NFL sending the Jets and Falcons last week. Now we're going to send you the Finns and Jags this week. Well, I'm sorry to you London people over there and everything, but that's what you're getting. So with that said, Dolphins 3.5-point favorites over the pond, over under 47. Adam, this is your Finns, and you know I'm going to go to you right now. Got murdered last week. How do they bounce back this week?
I mean, this is just what's their one win between the two of these teams? All right, 1-4 and 0-5. I mean, my Finns are just not what they used to be. They do still find a way to cover. A lot going on in Jacksonville. Obviously, no need to touch on that. Everybody knows the stories. I kind of like the Jags here. I think that they see this as a very winnable game. They have a little bit of a fan showing out there in London since they go every year. And yeah, like you said, Yank, we choose the best teams, of course, to go there and show off the NFL. But I'm going to, in this matchup here, I see this as a game the Jags think they can win. I think the Dolphins find a way to pull it out. But I do think Trevor Lawrence plays well. And the Dolphins D just has not really done much for me. So I think he has a pretty big day. That being said, the Finns pull out the win, but the Jags cover with that hook. I'm going to go 27-24 Miami.
All right, Adam, I'm 99% certain as we go down to the slate here, we're going to find something else and not bet this one. But
no, God, please.
Let's say right off the bat that because we agreed a lot last week. I'm going to say right off the bat though we're going to be different on this one at least. So maybe that opens the door for some more here. But I'm going to take the Finns, go win and cover. Is Tua coming back? It doesn't matter in my pick, but
I believe he is. He's on track.
That's what I thought he was too. But regardless of the fact, my biggest thing is this Jaguars defense is just not good at all. And I think Miami will just be able to find a way to score points. And like I said, Miami, Adam, you said they ain't what they have been, especially last year and everything. But they still have some talented players on this defense that I think could give a rookie quarterback like Trevor Lawrence some problems. And I don't know if this is the second, third time. No, this ain't the first time Miami's going to London. People forget the Giants won the first game in London ever against these boys right here. But with that said, Jacksonville's defense is just not good. It's cost them a lot of games. An offense like Miami that ain't great shouldn't be able to score the points I think they're going to be able to score in this one. And Miami has the defense to slow down a rookie quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I'll take the Finns to win and cover here 27-20.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins to win here, but I'm gonna take the Jags to cover the 3.5. Obviously, like Adam said, London does love their Jags. They go literally every year, and obviously the Tua coming back is big for this team because obviously Brissett really isn't cutting it. So that my pick is solely picked on Tua coming back for this Dolphins team to go win a game. I'm just going to trust that Brian Flores is going to have that defense ready to play against a Jags offense that isn't too great. But at the same time, this Finns defense that we thought was a pretty good group before the year hasn't looked too great. They just got absolutely torched by Tom Brady for was it 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
You would know your fantasy team.
Yeah, he put up 50 points in fantasy, so whatever that is. And I think the Jags are going to be able to hang with them. I think the Finns win it. I trust their defense to make a play at the end. I trust Brian Flores to maybe outcoach Urban Meyer in one phase of the game. So I'll take the Dolphins to win a close one in London, 23-21.
Yeah, I really don't want to bet that game.
Something tells me we're not going to, but I'm very confident we'll have a couple more disagreements as we go here.
Yeah, last week was an outlier.
Yeah. All right. Another thriller here. Houston traveling to Indy. Indy 9.5-point favorites at home. Over under 42.5. And I know I had the sarcastic mark there, but I'm going to say this about the Colts right off the bat. Like, I know this team has one win, but I think they're a much better team than what we've seen from one win. I'm pretty sure I mentioned last week how feel like over the past few years, the Colts have kind of been notorious slow starters and have just gotten hot and made playoff pushes all the time. And no, I think that door is still open for them this year, minus the whole game when Wentz and his ankles issues. Wentz has been playing pretty well for the most part this year. No massive game against the Ravens last night, threw for over 400 yards and a couple scores and everything. And he's to have a chance to come back and bounce back here and I think beat up on Houston a little at home. Houston, obviously with Mills at quarterback, just has not been working so well. Chaz, going back to week one, we kind of liked Houston that week and said that may be their only win of the year, and that is starting to turn out where it may be true. I still think this Colts team has a lot of talent. I think their defense has a lot of talent. There's some injured guys that are close to coming back, and I think this Colts team actually has a chance to put a lot of things together still and make a playoff push come into the season because they play in a division where they could get some wins. So I'm going to take the Colts to win and cover at home here with these. I expect another big game from Wentz and the Colts to score some points. Don't trust Houston to score that many. Colts 28-10.
28-10. No faith in the Texans, huh?
No, why should I?
Well, I mean, they were 3 points away from beating the Pats, and they're getting their second win last week. I think the Colts win. I agree with you a lot on what the Colts said. I looked at their losses. Rams, Titans, Seahawks, and Ravens. I mean, you could argue those are 4 playoff teams there. Maybe not the Seahawks now, but that's a tough schedule. Close games, only lost Rams by 3. I agree the Colts win and with ease here. I do think 9.5 is too many points against a Texans team that really hasn't played terrible over the past few weeks. I mean, they obviously got shut out by Buffalo, but I think we're seeing how good Buffalo is. And they kept it really close against New England. Probably should have won that game, honestly, and didn't. And for the Colts, I think that they win and cruise to this victory, but I think the Texans will get a backdoor cover to keep it close. And I don't know if the Colts are quite there to be blowing teams out just yet. Heartbreaking loss to the Ravens last week. So I'll take the Colts to win. I like the Texans to cover here, 27-20.
I am right with Gank, almost the same exact score. I'm going to take the Colts to win and cover here too. Obviously a horrible loss for them. But if there's one thing that they can look forward to, it's coming back home playing probably the worst team in football right now in Houston, who is coming off a brutal loss themselves at home in one game that they probably should have won. But I don't know if you guys saw their punter punted the ball right back into their own player to kind of start the whole comeback. I mean, it was a really nice collapse for the Texans as well. So I think that was kind of a big kick, in the balls for them. And now they're going to come home to a pissed off Colt team who, obviously going into Baltimore and playing the way they did was very impressive on the offensive side. I think the play calling got a little soft at the end of the game, especially on that third down. Even Frank Wright said at the end of the game, but I think this is a get right game for the Colts. Their defense got a little banged up towards the end of the game yesterday. Whether they play or not, get a week off against the Texans, get a win, and come back ready for the next week. So I'll go Colts 27-10.
Jazz in the Texans.
Hey, never.
When Tyrod comes back, I'll be right back on him.
When Tyrod comes back, I'm sure there will be a handful of games Texans are getting points that I'll probably take, but
yep.
We'll see. All right, Adam, here we go. Quietly massive game for your Bears here. Season possibly saved a little. Now here they come, 4.5-point home dogs against Green Bay, over under 45. What can the Bears do?
Yeah, like you said, obviously pretty pumped to be 3-2. Huge win in Oakland last week. And quietly the Bears defense has been pretty lights out the past few weeks against the Raiders offense that had some success, albeit against the Lions as well, but the Lions have given teams a lot of fits. I see this as a touchdown game for the Packers here. I could easily see the Bears covering 4.5, but every time, Yank, you know this all too well, every time you think the Bears are coming and just going to finally cover for you, they don't. And maybe I'm just trying to, be realistic here as a Bears fan. Their offense has played well, and the Packers are banged up defensively, but every time you think the Bears will cover, they don't. So I'm going to take the Packers to win here and cover. I think it's a close game. Bears defense plays really well for most of it, but offensively, the Bears just can't really get it going. And hopefully Justin Fields gets his first win against the Packers, but I'm very concerned just because Rodgers is just finding ways to win like he always does. So I'll take the Packers to win and cover here 24-17.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the right pick, Adam, because I think ever since you came on the show a few years ago, I think I've hit Bears games against the spread probably 25% of the time. I think I got it right. So this is not going to make you feel good because I am going to pick the Bears to actually cover this 4.5 here. But do have the Packers winning. The half point I think will be key here at the end. Like you said, I mean, Bears defense, you know me, I've always been big on them, and they really have shown how good they can be these past couple weeks. But Aaron Rodgers has seen this defense a lot too, and I'm going to take that almost every time. Yeah, they will slow him down, but when it's all said and done, he's still going to make his plays and get the job done. And I just don't trust the Bears offense enough to really keep up with an Aaron Rodgers-led offense at all. So I'm going to take the Packers to win, but Bears defense makes the plays to keep them in it. It just won't be enough. Packers win, Bears cover 24-20.
Well, I was very torn on this game, and obviously knowing Gank's history with picking the Bears and the fact that Adam is a Bears fan, I'm going to side with AT on this one. I think, the Bears, like we said, at least I didn't think they were going to cover last week because kind of people got bought in after the Lions win, and they went and won the game. It was a very impressive win down in Las Vegas. Now they come home to a Packer team that is lucky as hell to be 4-1 with all those missed field goals in Cincinnati. Obviously, Mason Crosby has to figure that out. But I think a big blow to this Packers defense, and I said it at Ganks on Sunday, Jair Alexander hit the IR, and that is a massive blow for that defense. But I mean, I think at home here, maybe I'm giving the Bears not enough credit that they deserve, but I'll side with that. I think the Pack will be able to just score more points than the Bears here, and keep it a little bit too far out of reach. So I'll go Bears 24-17.
I've seen this game a million times, and what's going to happen is the Bears are going to be within 3 points the whole game. Defense plays well, and then one too many drives for the Packers. Rodgers puts them up by 10 in the games. Like, that's just how it goes with Rodgers.
Yeah. Can't let him linger. But
No,
it's Aaron Rodgers, so he's going to linger.
It's going to be close, and then the defense is going to get tired. That being said, they are without Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander, right?
Where's Zadarius just playing? To be wrong.
I thought he was on the IR too.
Is he?
I think Chaz just hit a big bet.
Freddie Freeman just said it. Go ahead, home run.
Oh, wow.
Bottom 8 with 2 outs. Off hater.
What a stud.
How good is Freddie Freeman?
Curtain call now. Just a stud.
Guy's unreal, honestly. Somehow still doesn't get enough credit, and I'll never understand that.
Nope.
Like, you could make an argument over the past decade that take any player that's played the past 10 years almost, and you take him over anyone, I think.
Just consistent.
Yeah, you're getting 35 plus home runs and 100 plus RBIs, batting damn near 300 every year.
Every year. Opposite field homer too.
Yeah. All right. Where are we now? Freddie Freeman distracting us all.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, here we go. Chiefs, Washington. Chiefs 7-point road dogs here in Washington, over under 55.5. And no, I feel like we've all been saying week after week, no, Chiefs, all these teams are getting the Chiefs at a bad time. They're going to come out pissed off, go out, blow out this team, whatever, this, that. And it's honestly just not happening. And bottom line, the biggest reason for it, as we all see, is that defense is just simply not good. And with that said, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win. I'm 100% going to take Washington to cover. And I think the Chiefs are on kind of on an upset look this week too. I think Washington can win this game. I mean, Chiefs defense is bad to the point where I've seen enough from Taylor Heineke this year, whatever the hell it is in Washington, to know that he can put up a good game against this defense and keep this Washington team in it. And even though they're 2-3, they're still the Chiefs. They're a team that kind of have a target on their back. It's not for anything they did, other than the fact that just how good they are and how they've kind of been the team to beat in the NFL for the past 2 years. That's enough to get teams to wake up and come play for you. Maybe that'll get this Washington defense that we all know still has talent. They just haven't been playing well to come out and maybe play a good football game here. I think it's a little rough matchup for the Chiefs. I think Washington can hang around. There is no way I could just find myself picking the Chiefs to lose this game, but I will take Washington to cover and put the Chiefs on upset alert this week. Give me the Chiefs 27-24.
Dang, scoring less than 30, picking them. I know they did last week, but I mean, the thing I love for this game is the over. I know the Chiefs offense struggled last week, but the over still hit. The Chiefs over just hits. That's just a fact of life.
That's very true.
And like Chaz pointed out, they don't cover. I love the over here. I actually think the Chiefs are going to cover this game. I think it's similar to that game when they went into Philly. Defensively, I don't think they're going to play very well. They're going to give up at least 20 points like they always do. And football team can move the ball, but I have seen absolutely nothing from the football team's defense to think that they can stop the Chiefs offense. Bills came in, huge game for them last week. That was kind of their Super Bowl, trying to get revenge, and they just outplayed the Chiefs. I get that. Mahomes missed some throws. Doesn't happen a lot, but I think the Chiefs bounce back, put up a ton of points. I see this game going very similar to the Eagles game. The Chiefs put up a ton of points. Defensively don't really play great, but they find a way to win and cover. I'll take Kansas City 34-24.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with Gank here. I'm gonna take the 7 with Washington. Brutal loss last week to Adam Saints.
Yeah, baby.
I will say that game was obviously tied until the fucking Hail Mary at halftime, which is bullshit. But
it's so ridiculous.
With that being said, I completely agree with Gank. I can't take the Chiefs being 7-point favorites right now over everyone. I did obviously in Philly, and that was kind of more of a gut feeling. And obviously, I think Philly's defense is worse than Washington, even though Washington's has been horrific. I mean, Washington's 2-3 at home. They know that they have to win games. I'm not saying that they're going to win this game, but I think they're going to come out ready to play, especially if they're a bad loss. You're going to get the Chiefs' number one effort, but like we've seen, that's going to be on the offensive side. The defense literally can't stop anyone, and I'm going to keep saying it. And Adam keeps saying it with the overs, take their overs and take the other team to cover. So I'll take Washington at home here getting 7. I'll take the Chiefs to win 31-27.
How bad is the Chiefs defense?
I do feel like
I never seen
actually
it like
goes.
Unbelievable.
It's brutally bad. Literally brutally bad. The more I think about it, the more I think the over probably is the play in that game, but Washington still covers. All right, Minnesota, Carolina, Vikings, 1-point favorites on the road here in Carolina. Over under 46.5, and Vikings, big win for me. My one money line parlay last week, pulling it out last second. But with that said, I think it's one of the most intriguing games and lines out there. This Carolina team just blew a lead to Philly at home, and if they hold on to that lead, they're probably favored in this game, I would imagine. So I think this line's a little weird and a little skewed. With that said, we all know I've been riding the Vikings a lot this year. I'm glad they pulled out that win, kind of keep a little playoff push in hopes and everything. They lost a couple wins. And once again, I don't know who to take in this game. I'm going to be straight up honest. So I'm obviously just going to pick the Vikings and hope it works out for me and they can keep their playoff push alive. I don't think I want to touch this game as a gambler because I'm looking at two teams here that one week look very good to me and the next I have question marks about. I do like the consistency I see from the Panthers defense a lot more than almost anything I've seen the Vikings do this year. Maybe Kirk Cousins could keep playing somewhat decent enough to get this team some more wins here. This is a tough game to read. I'm shocked Minnesota's favorite. I kind of don't understand that, but I'll take the Vikings to win 24-21.
Yeah, I mean, in no shock here, Gank, you go with your team. I'm going to go with mine. Panthers, brutal loss last week. I don't think that's who they are. Sam Darnold, I think, has a bounce-back game. That being said, I agree with you. It's a toss-up. Obviously, there's a reason it's a 1-point spread. And to be fair, I mean, look at the Panthers wins: Jets, Saints, Texans. That's, I love my Saints, but those are not three powerhouse teams that they win against. And a loss to Philly at home could come back to haunt them when it comes playoff time, because that might be the reason they don't make it in. That being said, I think they bounce back this week, and their defense just plays, really well, to the point where they kind of shut down Minnesota. I'm not going to pick Kirk Cousins to beat good defenses. He's had a good year, don't get me wrong. And Alexander Madison, the guy, is just unbelievable, even when Dalvin's out. But that being said, I like the Panthers here. I like the under in this game as well, because I think the Panthers D knows they have to come in, shut them down the best they could. And they see this as a big game. Vikings squeaked by the Lions last week, but I'm still not buying them like I haven't. So I'll take the Panthers to win and cover in a low-scoring one, 2017.
Yeah, I haven't really bought in the Vikings either. I wasn't high on them before the year, and I think this is a massive game, obviously, for the NFC NFC playoff picture right now, and a Panther team that is trying to not fall off the tracks completely. And the fact that they're home here, I'm going to take them. I mean, the Vikings were, a 57-yard field goal away from losing at home to the Lions, where they were 10-point favorites. I think the Panthers, it was a bad last 3 minutes against the Eagles, but I think at home here, I'm pretty sure they're getting McCaffrey back this week. Darnold can't play worse than he has than he did last week. So I think I'm gonna back the Panthers here at home to get a win, 23-20.
Well, it's just strange to me. Why the
Panthers
Panthers are getting one at home.
A lot of weird lines.
All right. Chaz, we went through the whole pre-show and everything, the whole hell of a game the Ravens just played Monday night, last night. And I'm not going to lie, I somehow just went right over this game, just missed it. But this is a massive fucking game here. The Chargers coming into Baltimore. I did not even see this game, and this is almost as big as it can get. For week 6 right here, Chargers going to be 3-point dogs on the road coming into Baltimore. Over under 51.5. Incredible comeback from my guy, Lamar Jackson, last night. Going to pat myself on the back. Been hitting the nail on the head for his career the whole time, so his Super Bowls ain't coming, bud. But
what in the world are you talking about? Pat yourself on the back.
Guys never been able to throw a football to this year. I told you this year. This is the year Lamar comes out and does what he has to do. This is the year he's going to win games. He's going to learn how to throw. Because let's be honest, last year or 2 years ago, when Lamar did not have that throwing game, there was zero shot he was coming back in the game like that. And he's did it twice this year. One against the Chiefs and then again last night.
Yeah, and you didn't think he ever would. And then all of a sudden with offseason, you're like, oh, it's fine. Even though me and Chaz been saying he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, but I picked my times one because it was never fine. But this year I say he's going to be fine. It's been fine. I just had to get you rattled a little there.
Yeah.
All right, Chaz. With that said, like I said, as big as a game as you could get in week 6 right here. How are you feeling about your Ravens?
I mean, I told you guys on the pre-show, and I'm pretty sure I say it every week, the Ravens are taking years off my life. Every single week, no matter if they're favored by 7, they're dogs by 7, it always comes down to the last couple plays. And obviously last night was no different. Lamar Jackson, what he did last night was absolutely incredible. The guy made a ton of throws. He made a ton of plays with his legs. He, at some points, tried to do a little bit too much, which, he's probably got to scale back a little bit. But, the things that he's able to do, and now that we're able to see that he's able to lead that comeback, I've backed Lamar his whole career, but like Gank said, 2 years ago, Lamar doesn't do that. And I think that's the progress that he's made as a quarterback. It's the progress that the Ravens have made with him. And it's exciting as hell to see as a fan. I will say that, the defense has to play way better this week. Obviously, they're Justin Herbert coming to town. But I think the momentum of what they just had last night is going to carry over. They got 2 more home games here, 2 or 3 more home games in a row. Massive stretch of the schedule. And this is a massive game in the AFC. And if the Ravens want to be that number 1 seed, this is a game they have to go win. So I said it before the year. I think the Ravens, this is the year that they're probably going to have to do it. This is the year that I had the win total over. I'm huge on the Chargers this year, but cross-country trip, Ravens coming off a very emotional win. I'll take the Ravens to win and cover here. I'll go 31-24.
Yeah, kind
They
of.
really have 3 or 4 home games in a row.
Yeah, they played obviously last night. They play the Chargers Sunday. They play the Bengals next week, and then they either have they're either home or away the week after that. So massive stretch of the schedule.
Yeah.
I feel like these are two teams that have just found a way to win games this year, where the Chargers were not that last year, obviously. I look at this game and, man, it's tough. I can't wait to watch. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to take the Ravens to cover here because they are home. And the Chargers, I think, have played really well, and they're a great team. But I think they've gotten a little bit lucky where they're at right now. And to be fair, the Ravens have too. But it just seems like Lamar is on a way to lead his team to these victories. And that's why I'm going to roll with him. Love the guy for fantasy reasons, have him in a few leagues. So hoping he can carry me to championship, like I said, pre-show. But that being said, I would be careful betting this game because it can go either way. But I'll take the Ravens to win and cover here, 31-27.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this then. Like I said, when it comes season end, I'm gonna take the Ravens, but right now I'm actually gonna take the Chargers in this game. No, my thing is I look at this when I
Hater.
watch the Ravens, they are what's that?
Hater.
Not a hater at all. Nothing to do against Lamar right now.
Side.
It's more so like when you watch the Ravens. I mean, if you're going to beat the Ravens, and we've seen it from once last night, obviously didn't get the win, but no, right now there's some holes on this Ravens defense, and I think as the season progresses, and maybe certain guys come back and everything, this Ravens defense is going to get better, and I think come playoff time, it's going to be a defense you don't want to see. But right now, the biggest hole in this Ravens defense is kind of similar to Tampa Bay, and that's that you could beat them by throwing the ball. And the way Justin Herbert's throwing the ball right now, especially with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and everything, I think it's just going to be a little too much for the Ravens defense to handle right now. With that said, I'm going to take the Chargers to actually go on the road, pull off the upset, and win this game outright. Chargers defense has also been playing very well too. This team as a whole, both these teams as a whole, are legit Super Bowl contenders. Come into the season in January when it matters a little bit more, I'm obviously going to stick with my Ravens pick going to the Super Bowl. If we see this matchup again, that's obviously who I'm going to pick. But right now, the way these teams look, I think the Chargers just match up a little bit better. I think Herbert's have a chance for a huge game here and find a way to pull off this slight upset of a win on the road here. Jazz, again, another heart attack because it's be another back and forth fun football Ravens type game that we see here. But give me the Chargers 28-24.
Yeah, I mean, win or lose, I know I'm going to be right back in the heart attack mode that I was this week.
Oh, yeah. I sense a theme with that this year because their defense isn't exactly what it was because it's banged up.
It's been like this ever since Lamar took over. Literally.
I mean, that is what a game that's going to be.
Why is it at 1 o'clock, though? You make that a 4 o'clock.
CBS has a doubleheader this week. Do you know?
I don't know. I guess maybe I'd like to watch it, but we'll see.
Because if you have the doubleheader, you could let me see who's the 420. Yeah, Fox had it last week, I think, with the Giants Cowboys game. So I imagine CBS has it this week. I don't know, but usually you can lock certain games in at the times they are when you're showing 2 games at a certain time. So the TV station could literally just keep that game locked in and it won't move. It's weird like that, but I don't know. All right. Well, this one's at 1 o'clock here. Cincinnati and Detroit. Cincinnati 3.5-point favorites on the road, over under 47.5. And tell you what, Cincinnati gave Green Bay everything they had, and little kicking duel. Nobody wanted to win the game for either team to close that game out. But at Detroit, as we've been talking about every week, they feel like they're right there about to get their win, but something just goes against them all the time. They literally can't do it. I mean, this team has lost on 66-yard field goal and a 57-yard field goal in the past few weeks.
Both games were 19-17 too.
Both games 19-17 at the buzzer. They literally can't catch a break. It is at a point where I actually kind of felt bad for them. That is tough to see, but with that said, this Bengal team that we all figured, was moving in the right direction actually looks like they're kind of a little farther ahead than anybody anticipated coming into the season. I think a lot of people like them. I think a lot of people thought they were a year away, but they're showing that, they have a chance to win some games and make a playoff push this year. And I think they're going to keep rolling here. Detroit, this is a winnable game for them. And I do feel like they're on the verge of winning. I'm going to take Detroit to cover at 3.5 just because of the way I see them play, how they fight and keep it close. And I'm sorry, Detroit fans, I'm going to break your hearts again, but give me Cincinnati to win this at the buzzer on a field goal here. I'll take the Bengals 27-24.
Yeah, so I like the Bengals here to win and cover. Not a heartbreaker for Detroit. They actually just lose. Dan Campbell crying at the press conference, man. You really got to feel for the guy. Just pretty crazy the press conferences this guy has had so far in his tenure as the Lions head coach. That being said, yeah, Lions keep games close. I get that a lot against division rivals too and all that, blah, blah. But I just kind of feel like Cincy knows they can win this game and will take care of business. Kind of more of a gut feeling than anything else. Detroit's had a couple of tough losses to the point where maybe they just don't, they don't come out ready to play too much this week. That being said, being home is a big deal. I just like Joe Burrow here to play really well and get a big win. Just goes to show Cincy, their team isn't really that great, but if you have your guy and you build around him, you'll win games. Simple as that. So I like Cincy to win and cover here. Not a heartbreak for Detroit. I'm going to go 27-20, Cincy.
I'm going to pull it. I'm going to take Lions to win here. I think they get their first win of the year. And
I do this all the time. It never works.
I may be too big on the Lions this year when it comes to covering points. But, they have been pretty damn good so far up until this point. And the last home game they played was to those Ravens in Detroit when they lost, obviously, on a 66-yard field goal. And I've watched a lot of the Lions this year, weirdly, but we've seen the Lions play a lot this year, and they keep games close. And, maybe it's the Dan Campbell sobbing press conference. I think the Lions are actually come out ready to play this week, very fired up at home because when you look at their schedule, their beginning part of their schedule was absolutely brutal. Even going into Minnesota is not an easy game. They're 10-point dogs and almost won. So now they come home to a Bengals team who's overachieving so far, but they're still not great. I think the Lions at home here see it as a winnable game. I think they put it all together, and I'm going to take the Lions to win a ball game. I'm going to go Lions 31-27.
Wow. That him crying video has me like just mixed weird emotions because like I said, you do want to feel bad for them, feel bad for those teams. They have been, right there. But at the same time, it's like this grown ass man, tough guy, what the fuck you doing? Crying.
Yeah, that's something I've never really seen. A crying coach at a press conference after a loss. But hey, I guess he was overcome with emotion.
Yeah. Hey, it happens.
It looked like Lions losses this year: Niners, Packers, Ravens, Bears in Chicago, and then Vikings in Minnesota, which obviously they were a field goal away.
Teams are field goal away a lot of games. I don't know, man. It's like whatever.
They get the Rams. If they get the Rams, they go to the Rams next week. The Lions. Let's go get a win this week.
That Rams gonna be coming off a loss going into that game. With that said, here we go.
Good segue to the Rams.
The Rams 10.5-point favorites on the road coming to MetLife to see my Giants here over under 47.5. No, what much could I say? I don't even know who the hell's going to be on the field for the Giants. Obviously, they haven't ruled Saquon out yet. I'm going to rule Saquon out right now for at least this game. We all saw a picture of his ankle last week. I don't see any chance of how he's going to play. The only hope is that Daniel Jones clears concussion protocol and he can maybe get on the field because I think the Giants should stay within this 10.5 number if he does. But I'm also not going to bank on that. So I'm going to look at this game right now. The Giants, Giants gave the Rams a battle last year, almost beat them outright, but this is two totally different Rams teams. The second you change a quarterback and bring in a quarterback that has this offense looking like the way I imagine McVay always envisioned it, and this Rams team could be pretty scary here. I want to say the Giants have the corners to match up in a game like this. I feel like they usually do, but I also need to see a little more from the Giants defense. I haven't seen enough. There's just way too many injuries on the offensive side of the ball. The Rams, I feel like, are they go out there and score points. They've had no problem doing it this year. And with the injuries on the offensive side of the ball for the Giants, I don't see how they could keep up. So maybe the first time this year I'm doing this, picking against the Giants spread. I think the Giants are 2-3 or 3-2 against the spread. So it's kind of been 50-50 for me picking them against the spread. But first time this year, I think I'm going to go against them with the spread. I'll take the Rams to win and cover this game here. Give me the Rams 27-16.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if Daniel Jones is playing, I do actually kind of like the Giants being it's 10.5. He didn't look like he'd be ready to play this week. Seen him wobbling after that hit. So I'm going to assume he's not in and assume Mike Glennon is quarterbacking. Former Bear, great. But I'm going to take the Rams to win and cover and not really think much of it. If this game was in like December, it'd be great for the Giants because it's much colder. But this is just one of those games I think the Rams really come out ready to play. I think the pass rush of the Giants struggles to get anywhere close to Matt Stafford. And if you give the Rams time, Matt Stafford, you've seen what can happen. So I'm going to take them to win, cover, not really think much into it. And this is a brutal one for the G-Men. I'm going to go 31-17.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm on the Rams. Last week's Giants performance was not one of my favorites. And obviously all the injuries added up at the end. I mean, the Rams here are going to put up a lot of points. This Giants defense that we raved about has not obviously looked anywhere close to what we thought they were going to. And now they have, arguably one of the hottest teams in NFL coming in and a lethal offense. And whether it's Daniel Jones or Mike Glennon, I don't see them scoring enough points to keep this close. So I'm going to go Rams 33-20.
I mean, there was a time I considered going to this game. Matt Rosilio, Rams fan, and everything. The second I realized I might be going to watch Mike Glennon, Devontae Booker get pummeled by Aaron Donald, I'm like, I don't think that's worth my money. It's just not ideal right now.
Not ideal.
Giants found a way to win against Dallas. Stayed healthy and find a way. There would be a very good chance I'd be going to that one, but it's not happening now.
Yeah, I mean, like the only healthy receiver they have punched a guy, so that's a problem.
I actually have to bring that up. Some on bright side though is actually him. I mean, punching the guy wasn't good. Whenever he got thrown out, rookie, you live and you learn. But on a bright side, this Giants offense, Tony has been unbelievable the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, the dude can play. I just, as their fourth receiver, I'm not sure what they're doing, but he can play.
The way he's looking, he's number 2 with Galladay once he's back. But all right, let's get into the 4:00 swing here. Another pretty big game we got right here. Arizona in Cleveland. Cleveland 3-point favorites at home, over under 49. Chaz, you've been the one that's big on the Cardinals all year, and you've been right so far. This arguably their toughest test yet. How do they do here?
Yeah, this is a massive game. I picked the Cardinals to win, but I wasn't confident last week against the Niners. I'm going to take them to lose their first game here. I saw this, I was like, wow, the 5-0 Cardinals are getting points. But the more I look at it, the Browns just went into LA and put up 42 points and somehow lost the game, which is incredible. But I'm just going to bank on their defense is just simply not going to play half as bad this week at home. A 3-2 team with the Browns here, a team that a lot of people expect big things from this year, and a lot of people expect to go deep, possibly in the playoffs. I think it's a must win for this team. I don't think they could fall to 3-3 in a pretty loaded AFC. Cardinals 5-0 is obviously a great run. Kind of feels like they're due for a loss. Browns at home here, I'll take them, but I'll take the Cardinals to actually cover the 3. I would take the Browns 30-28. like the over.
Yeah, the over under at 49 kind of throws me off. Seems a little low. That being said, Chaz, I mean, I was 1,000,000% with you with literally everything you said, except for I think the Browns cover as well. Cardinals are a very talented team. They have played very well, surprised a lot of people, including myself. But eventually, these like toe dragging 70-yard passes kind of find a way to lose. And the Browns, like you said, it's a must win for them, in my opinion. And a tough loss to the Chargers. But I mean, in LA, the Chargers, it's one of the toughest games in the league, as we can see. So, like the Browns to bounce back defensively, they play pretty well, force some turnovers. Cardinals finally get tested. Not indication of who they are this year, but they lose this game. I think the Browns just kind of have that formula to beat them, is run the ball and, try at least their best to get some pass rush to Kyler Murray, but that guy's playing at an all-time level right now. So I'm going to take the Browns to win and cover because they can just run the ball with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, who are both top 10 fantasy running backs right now. Pretty incredible. I'll take the Browns to win and cover. I'll go 30-23.
Down with you. I'm going to take the Browns to win and cover here too. And no, you hit a couple things that obviously got to point to right on the head. I think starters, best way to probably beat Arizona is keep Kyler Murray off the field. The Browns can run the ball well. That's one way to do that. And the other thing is, Chaz said last week, Browns scored 42 points and they lost. And this Browns defense is way better than that. They have a chance to come back home here. And this defense has a chance to prove something against another pretty high-powered offense. I think they're going to play with a little more emotion, a little more pissed off, and show them that, they're better than those near 50 points the Chargers almost put up on them last week. So I'm going to take the Browns to win this game. Cardinals obviously will be fine. I've seen enough to obviously be a buyer in them this year. The Browns, I think, bounce back at home this week with something to prove, and I think they get the job done. I'll take them and win this game. And no, surprisingly, a little letdown game for the Cardinals here. I'll go Browns 27-17.
All on the Browns to win, huh?
Yeah.
I hope they don't.
Yeah. I mean, a bigger problem 2 years ago. We were all in the Browns to win.
Very true. Very true.
All right. Well, here's the biggest storyline game of the week. Las Vegas heading to Denver here. Denver 3.5-point favorites at home. Over under 44.5. As everybody probably knows by this point, the whole story with John Gruden, and he is out at this Raiders head coach. And now it's almost like I don't know what to expect from Vegas here. I mean, I kind of like the way Gruden was building this team. He was pretty notorious for starting hot the way the Raiders did this year, and kind of falling off as the season went on, but always keeping them in the playoff push. And, hot start, things got cold, but now he's gone. And I think this Raider team was actually getting accustomed to him. And I was still a believer that it was different than his first few years since he's been back with this team. But I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of question marks there. I actually think the players were buying into what he was doing, and all of a sudden he threw this change at him. Now you got to go on the road in divisional game to a place that ain't easy to play. And as much as I always shit on Denver because of Gower, I actually think this Denver team is going to be pretty good. They got a good defense. Teddy Bridgewater's going to play well enough to win some games for them. And with everything going on in Vegas, it's a weird game. I feel like, Vegas is going to come in and, maybe show some emotion for this new coach and get a win for him to show they have their back, or the opposite could happen, which is the side I'm leaning on more. And there's too much going on, and Denver actually kind of beats them up pretty well here at home, which I think is going to happen. I know Denver has injuries on the offensive side, but I think Vegas just has too much more outside stuff going on. Give me the Broncos to win this game here. I'll go 28-20.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's a lot going on with the Raiders, obviously, and can't get to now have a bunch of stuff. They could be, like you said, they could literally either come out and win this game against the world, or they could get smoked. And I think they're going to get smoked. I'm starting to see that, yes, the Raiders had a couple big wins, don't get me wrong, but against some pretty bad defenses. Now they faced a couple good defenses in the Chargers and the Bears, and they have struggled. Their O-line is not very good. And if they can't run the ball, they're in trouble. And I think Denver's defense wins them this game like they have won their first 3 games that they played. this is a divisional game. Every time I bet the Raiders, I feel like I don't win, but I love the Broncos this week. And I just think this is the type of game they win at home. Defense plays well. Teddy, no turnovers. They win. Kind of an ugly game. I don't love the points here, but I'm going to go 24-17 Denver.
All right, I'm going to be the lone soul here. I'm going to take Denver to win the game. I don't think that's really in question this week, but I will take the Raiders to cover. I think Derek Carr is kind of going to take this personally, and I think he's going to play well. I mean, as well as you can in Denver. It's a tough test, but I think he's going to play well. I think he's going to have this team ready to play probably as best as they can. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to win the game. I think Denver, obviously, 2 straight losses to the AFC North. So it happens when you play a real division. But I think they get a win here, whether it's a backdoor cover, a late field goal, whatever it is. I just think the Raiders do cover the 3.5, but Denver will win. I'll take Denver at home 24-23.
That's a fun football game, though, huh?
When
it's all said and done, too. Yeah, when it's all said and done, too. I mean, you want to look at that game. That's 2 teams, same division, 3-2 right there. Like, there's big implications on that game. Week 6. All right, here we go. Dallas and New England here. Dallas, 4-point favorites on the road, over under 50.5. And, like I said, Chaz, you've been with me from the start. Adam, you joined a year later. I've been, as a Giant fan, big on Dallas. And for the first time all year, I think this is the best they've ever looked since we started this show. So I am going to keep riding Dallas. Though whenever you play Bill Belichick, though, I always think it's a tough matchup. Everybody knows one thing he does best is kind of take your best player out of the game and make you beat you elsewhere. But who's Dallas's best player? Dak is so good. Zeke is so good. CeeDee Lamb is so good. Amari Cooper can be so good. Like, everyone on that offense is just so good and explosive. Like, who are you going to pick Belichick to take out here? I just think it's too much. I think Dallas's offense stays rolling. Their defense is – I'm not going to call their defense great yet, but with how much it improved compared to what we see in the past 2 years and with how explosive this offense is, it's going to work as a team and everything. I mean, Micah Parsons, you're my defensive rookie of the year right now. I'll give that to you right now. And Dallas is going to be too much here in New England. Over under 50.5. I do think it is a little high. I do think Belichick will find a way to slow it up somewhat, but you can't stop it. And that's going to be the case here, giving Dallas 27-20 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with everything you said. I like the under here. I think defensively, the Patriots will play well enough to win this game. I think Dallas will find a way to win and cover, but I see the Pats offense, and I'm just not really buying it just yet this year. They don't really have that many playmakers. They took advantage of both their tight ends last week, which may be helpful at home this week. But I'm just not a believer in New England's offense yet. Dallas is playing well. They might be due for a loss, but I don't think this is the one. Their offense is just rolling, man. And if you can't stop Zeke, that offense is almost unstoppable. Because if they can run the ball at will, I mean, they're going to put up 40 points like they did, or 35 points like they did last week. So I'll take Dallas to win and cover. And I think the Patriots just can't do enough offensively to win this game. So I'll take Dallas. Same score as you, 27-20.
Yeah, we almost have all of the same scores. I'm with Dallas here. With you two, 5-0 against the spread this year for Dallas, which is very impressive. And, I mean, when you mix that offense with semi-decent defensive play, you're going to get good things, and that's what they've gotten so far. And I think, I mean, the Patriots we saw last week went into a really bad Houston team and barely won that game. And now they're getting one of the hottest teams in football. Coming into Foxborough, I'm with you guys, though. I like the under, but I'll take the Cowboys to win and cover 27-21.
Under, huh? It's Dallas team, man.
They're legit.
Yeah. The thing is, they're going to be for a while. So not ideal as a Giants fan. All right, let's get to the primetime games here now. First time all year, Sunday Night Football, maybe second time, although that game proves to actually be pretty good in Brady's return. I still think that was a bigger storyline than it was game. I like to see these high power matchups, and look at this game coming into the year. Yeah, it does. Fortunately, 6 weeks in, I don't think you expect these teams to be where they are. Seattle so much because of the Russell Wilson injury, and Pittsburgh on a roller coaster of a season. With that said, Seattle coming to Pitt 4.5-point favorites at home. Low over under 42.5. And I'm just going to take Pitt here right off the bat. As much as everybody knows, as a West Virginia grad, I'm going to be a Geno Smith guy. Not an ideal defense you want to see here, Geno, especially on the road, prime time. Pittsburgh does kind of have a chance to save their season here and get rolling again. I mean, they got a defense that's good enough. Maybe Ben has a chance to build some confidence here because Seattle's defense just has not looked great. I think Ben has a chance to put up some numbers too. Maybe kind of prove people he still has a little something here. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win this game at home pretty easily, honestly. Geno's just going to struggle too much against this defense. I think it's just a bad matchup all around for Seattle without Russell Wilson. To be honest, I don't think Seattle's that good without Russell Wilson. I just think Russell Wilson is that good where he keeps them in every single game. Give me the Steelers to win this one 28-17.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Steelers this week. Seahawks have a talented offense, don't get me wrong, but I think we all can agree that Russ has really been the glue holding them together for quite a few years now because the roster's just not that great, and they just keep trading away first-round picks. Jamal Adams' trade does not look very good. The guy has not done well in coverage and just not having a good year overall. I think this is where the year that Seattle, after this Russ loss, they might start losing a few games because that's really their guy. And I'm just seeing bets of Russ playing somewhere else in 2022. I don't know about going that far, but that being said, I like the Steelers a lot this week because Najee Harris, if the Steelers can run the ball, they'll win games, and Seattle just cannot stop anyone against the run. So a big game from him this week, fantasy-wise. I think Seattle can score some points, but Pittsburgh takes care of business at home. And Sunday night doesn't help Geno as well, so I'll go 27-17 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'll keep this short. I mean, you guys just echoed a lot of what I was going to say. Tough game for Geno on the road. Sunday Night Football is not where in Pittsburgh is not where you want to go start a game. Seahawks with no Russ. I have no confidence. I'm going to go Steelers 20-9.
Love that. It sucks that Sunday night.
Dude, yeah, that's like not what he needs.
It's really not bad at all if Russ is playing, honestly. No. It's really not.
No, it's
a fun game if Russ is playing.
Yeah, it's brutal. But hey, we make up for it Monday night. Get a little high-powered, fun points coming on here. Buffalo, 5.5 points on the road. Favored by 5.5 points on the road here in Tennessee. Over and under 54. Adam, it's the Titans. Fantasy, your whole fantasy matchup is going to be riding on this game here. So, how do you feel this game is going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm going against Josh Allen, but I love the over. I mean, this is just, Bills had a really good week defensively and have played well defensively, but I said a pre-show, I think that was kind of their Super Bowl last week to go into Kansas City and beat them, a little revenge game. And the Titans are like that kind of team that play up to their opponents' potential. They'll play down to certain teams, but offensively, I don't know if anyone can really stop Derrick Henry because the Titans are just so bought into giving him the ball. And, I'm hoping that the Titans receivers come back this week, or at least a couple of them. A.J. Brown came back and had a big day, right? Hopefully Julio comes back, or he played last week. I'm not sure. But that being said, I think the Bills win this game. But 5.5 points is a lot. I'm going to take the Titans to cover. At home, Monday night, shootout. I think the Bills come out a little bit, just a little bit of a hangover from that huge win in Kansas City. And, both offenses play well, but the Bills find a way to win this game in a thriller on Monday night. I'm going to go 33-30 Buffalo.
Wow. I actually, kind of like that. I'm 100% with you on the over. No, Buffalo plays. I'm going to take that. And Buffalo's defense, those shutout against the Texans, slow down the Chiefs a little bit. To be honest, I actually think Mahomes was slow off that game, missed a couple throws and everything. And as good as Buffalo defense statistically and numberly has kind of look, I still kind of don't buy it completely. Like you said, Adam, Tennessee usually kind of plays up to the other opponents, comes out for this game, especially at home here, prime time. I think they're going to. I think this team is going to find a way to score some points and keep up with the Bills. But when it's all said and done, the Bills, the team as a whole, is just too much for this Titans team to handle. Titans defense obviously still has the question marks. And when you got Josh Allen coming into town, having question marks on defense is never going to be a good thing. So I'm going to take the Bills to win here. 5.5, I agree too. It seems a little high. I think we have a fun back and forth football game. I'm with you, Adam. I go high scoring with you also. Bills 35-32.
All right, I'm gonna end the show with a juicy pick. I'm gonna take the Titans to win here.
Whoa,
Oh, wow.
Chazzy's got the
Very
Titans to
unlike
win.
him.
I was on the Bills last week to go into KC and win, and I'm now hopping off, and I'm taking the Titans to win here at home. I'm with you guys. I think it's gonna be a shootout, but I think last week what we saw, it was like the Bills Super Bowl. They had to go into KC and win for Josh Allen and that offense to kind of get the bad taste out of their mouth of the AFC Championship. They got that done, and now a massive Monday night game in Tennessee. And the difference here, I think, is obviously last week the Bills got out to an early lead, and Mahomes was just off all night. He was missing throws that we've never seen him miss. I think the Titans, we've watched enough Titan games when they're, like Adam said, they play up to their competition. They're going to feed Derrick Henry, whether they're up 10 or down 10. They don't get away from the run, and the Chiefs got away from the run in the first quarter. So I think it's going to be a big Derrick Henry day. I think Tannehill is obviously established enough to go make plays and put up points. And you guys know my hatred for the Titans, but I think they're going to go win this game, shake up the AFC playoff standings, and end this week on a fun note. A lot of points, like you guys said, though. I'll go Titans 31-28.
Yeah, I mean, I said a pre-show, I have 4, possibly 5 players, and Foosh, I think, has 2, including his quarterback. So we'll be watching that game.
I mean, yeah. It's a fun game to watch, too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yank, what are you betting, big guy?
Adam, I'm gonna suggest one to you first. I think this would be a fun game to bet.
Okay.
You're 5-0 against me. I'm 0-5. I think you had a pretty good lean on it too. I like the fact that if I get the Chargers +30 in Baltimore against you.
Oh.
You thought it's something you were thinking, but
Well, I mean, all right, hold on. What about I don't really want to bet Ravens Chargers because I think that's a toss-up as a game, and with you getting 3 there, I don't love it. What about Chiefs football team?
I'll take Washington +7.
Okay.
I think it's 2 weeks in a row I'm riding with Washington, but
Double down, Bill.
Yeah, that football team, their defense is just not what it was, huh? What happened?
yeah, at least they still have a little bit of a defense.
Yeah, I mean, that was.
The Chiefs, we could get 11 and do the same thing they're fucking doing right now defensively.
Yeah, no, that's Chiefs. They're just a really bad defense.
All right. Locks time, boys. Adam, you are first. Sorry, I haven't read off the records. You're sitting at 5-10. I'll be second at 9-6. Chaz, you're 9-5-1. But Adam, you did get your first, I believe, your first winning record of the season last week. So, no, as we say, we get better as the season goes. Season gets going, and the door's open for you to pick first. Let's see. Stay rolling here.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to get 2-1 last week. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I actually love my locks this week, which could be great or could be terrible.
Always bad.
Yeah, I feel like it's not good, but I will stick with what has been working for me because I think I might have locked this 2 weeks in a row, honestly. I'm going to take the Chiefs over 55.5 against football team. Chiefs over hits, death taxes, and Chiefs over hits. So we're just going to keep that rolling. I'm also going to go to that Monday night game, take that over in Buffalo, Tennessee. I see two really good offenses there, and I don't see a lot of defense in that game, especially with the Titans committing to the run and the Bills having to throw the ball. And finally, I am going to go with the Steelers at home -4.5. I really think the Seahawks are just a completely different team without Russ. That's their guy. Kudos to Gino. Guy played pretty well the other week, but it's just first game without him, I think, in Russ's career, if I'm not mistaken. And Steelers at home Sunday night, they win that easily.
Oh, that hurt. I really wanted that Pitt one. I wanted that Pittsburgh one bad. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna get it picking second today too. I thought that shot
Almost
fallen,
did.
but
Almost did.
yeah. Okay, with that said, Chaz, I'm sorry I'm taking the Chargers +3. I'll start with that. And
Good push.
I don't know if it, yeah, that could be the second push. Not sure if it would have made the list because Buffalo and Tennessee was also very high on my list. Honestly, those two were two I wanted to take. I might have taken a different one just for your sake, but I'll go to Dallas, New England. I could be wrong. I think this is the first time I'm taking an under all year, but I'm going to go under 50.5 in that game. And I need to give you one more, huh?
Yes, you do, Bull.
Got narrowed down. Let me just relook some things. All right. I'm going to go Cleveland -3. Like I said, I think the best way to beat Arizona is keep Kyler Murray off the field. I think Cleveland will be able to run the ball and do that.
I like that guy.
All right. I'm going to lead us off with my Lions getting 3.5.
Has in his lines.
I feel it's just a tough week to be picking third.
No, yeah, this is not.
I had a very small list of things to choose from, and you snagged two of them, Adam.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of good ones, and then it's
All right. Secondly, I picked them to win outright, so I'm going to take the Titans +5.5. Big Monday night game for us for the show.
I'll tell you what, though, the Tennessee game last week, if I'm not mistaken, Adam had their spread and I had the over in it, and they both hit. So,
All right. And lastly, I'm going to take. I did 2 weeks ago and it worked. I'm going to back Gonzo. I'm going to take the Bucks -7.
Love it. When in doubt, go with the GOAT. Or goats, I should say.
yeah. Tom and Gonzo. All right, the locks are in. I am still salty. I don't have Pittsburgh -4.5, but obviously cannot knock you from taking it when I love it that much.
I was deciding between that and Cleveland -3, but I just didn't really want to lock against the Cardinals if I didn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, like, I'm going through the whole show, writing down my things I want. And then we literally get to the night games. I'm like, Pittsburgh -4.5 and the over in the Monday night game. I'm like, those are my two favorite plays so far. I like, we just went through the whole show, and those are my two favorite things. But
yeah,
there you go. Hey, let's have another winning week. We've been hot. Hopefully we update with a winning week next week.